Hello, thanks for being in a new video. This time I have unboxing of Nothing Phone 3A. We must begin. This bed for a mid-range definitely is the most attractive of today in Mexico. This device has a launch price of 7,799 pesos. This for the edition with 8 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of storage, and the edition with 256 gigabytes of storage and 12 gigabytes of RAM has a price of 8,799 pesos, which is still something considerably attractive taking into account several points. We'll get to know the design of this device next. On the screen you saw the reference price in dollars, although remember that the prices here are not the same as over there, however, at least in the Mexican context. It is a device that becomes very prominent for its features, but let's take it out of the box to get to know it better. For some reason, Nothing likes the boxes to be completely broken, and inside the box we find another small box. In this one we find another small box. The case, by the way, comes with some texture through reliefs, which I find to be a nice detail. Now, let's go ahead and open this box. We immediately encounter the cell phone, along with a small welcome letter to the noticing community. It actually appears to be a box with very minimal content since we directly find the cell phone, and there doesn't seem to be much additional content inside. However, let's first take out the phone to have an initial look at the design that we might discover here. Take note, in this particular case, it is the dark shade edition. However, I must remind you that it is also available in white and blue. It retains the distinctive Nothing essence with transparencies on the back cover and the glyph interface, which we will explore in just a moment. So, let's power up the device and take a look at what else is included in the box. While the device is starting up, we only find the cable included, and that's all. Interestingly, I find it curious that the cable now comes without its header. It's transparent, similar to what we've seen in earlier Nothing editions. We notice some minor changes in the accessories, and importantly, it doesn't include a charger in the box, which might be the main issue or complaint. You'll need to purchase the charger separately. In the same Nothing store, they sell the 100-watt CMF charger with multiple outputs. I typically use these U-green chargers, which also provide various outputs in a different order. Some are smaller, while others are larger, depending on the power level you desire. In the description, I have left a link where you can go to purchase these chargers, which appear to be compatible with these Nothing devices. So I already have the device set up, and now we can take a brief tour of its specifications. We found it has a thickness of 8.35 millimeters and a weight of 201 grams. The screen is protected with Panda glass, a type of glass that isn't very popular. We're not entirely sure about the level of resistance it might offer, but that's the protection it comes with. Additionally, it has an IP68 rating, which means it can be submerged in water at a shallow depth for a brief period. This could be useful for accidental drops, but it's definitely not advisable to use it underwater. The design includes an optical fingerprint reader, which is a plus. However, the bezels are not as thin as we would prefer, resembling current Galaxy models that don't prioritize ultra-thin bezels. Interestingly, the images on the Nothing website show much thinner bezels, so be cautious of that. The screen measures 6.7 and 7 inches diagonally, providing us with a full HD resolution. It offers 10 bits of color depth and a refresh rate of 120 Hz. By default, it comes with the dark mode, which I personally don't like very much. But you can completely change it to suit your preferences. It delivers a maximum peak brightness of 3000 nits for HDR content and 1300 nits for viewing under sunlight. I might have mentioned this already, but it does indeed have a refresh rate of 120 Hz, making it a screen, which is certainly up to standard. It integrates stereo sound with one speaker below and another in the earpiece area for calls, and it sounds quite good. The front camera boasts 32 megapixels with an f aperture and fixed focus. Although the preview may show a burnt background, the processed photograph turns out very nice. In fact, if you view the result on this device's screen, which is compatible with XDR, you will notice the image quality appears even more realistic because of that. The brighter parts of real life also appear with a higher intensity of brightness on the screen, allowing it to enhance the brightness of specific screen areas to provide a more realistic feel. The photos taken with the front camera seem very impressive to me. They have an excellent level of detail and superb color management. This is my initial impression, although a downside is that the front camera cannot record in 4K, only in Full HD. However, it can record at 60 frames per second. Secondly, that would certainly be a noticeable weak point. On the back, there are 3 cameras. The main one is 50 megapixels with an aperture of f1.88, autofocus and optical stabilization. Next is the 8 megapixel ultra-wide-angle camera with an aperture of f2.2 and fixed focus. Lastly, the 50 megapixel telephoto camera has an f2.2 aperture, 2 times optical zoom, and digital stabilization in this case. A system that, in my opinion, for its price range, can compete very well and even outperform many competitors. However, let's take a closer look at the results. The ultra-wide camera, in my view, is certainly the simplest option, not only because it lacks a high resolution, but it's also clear right away that it won't provide us with spectacular photography. Next, we move to the main camera, where we observe a good level of photographic quality. Then you are examining the camera. A telephoto lens that oddly shifts in color representation, which could be fixed with a future update. Here, you're viewing a photo at 4x zoom, where the device crops within the sensor, thus nearly preserving optical quality, and we observe a good result. Now, you're seeing the photo at 5x zoom, and we also notice a good outcome. Then at 10x zoom, which is the maximum for most devices in this price range. But, even though we're in this setting, the detail level appears to be quite impressive. And finally, we have 30x, which is the maximum zoom capability this device offers, and I believe it maintains a decent quality. So, in terms of zoom, this is likely one of the key strengths of this rear camera system. You'll notice it indicates K as the available resolution, but the ultra-wide camera is limited to recording in full HD. In fact, even if you see 2 X's here, when you record in K, you're actually just using digital zoom. Since the telephoto camera is also unable to record in 4K resolution, it seems that video recording in general is a weak point for this phone. The battery has a capacity of 5000 mAh, and it supports charging at 50 watts, though the charger must be purchased separately. The device is equipped with Nothing OS version 3.1 as its operating system, which runs on Android 15. Among its new features, we will find new widgets, new customization options for the lock screen, and also a new layout design. The new essential space is actually the quick settings. Here, we will even have the ability to resize some of these settings. But above all, the main novelty is that it includes a new button. However, its placement can be quite confusing. Believe me, your finger naturally rests on this button, so you often want to activate the phone using it. But remember, the power or activation button is actually the one located at the top. I believe I would have preferred if this extra button was positioned in a different part of the device. However, the good news is that it features a polished finish, making it simple to differentiate between this button and the others. This particular button is designed to help save certain collections. For instance, you can observe that when you're viewing a web page, by pressing and holding this button, you can instantly take a screenshot. This screenshot will then be saved directly in the essential space. To quickly access the essential space, you need to double-click this special button. As you can see here, you have stored various elements that do not only show the screenshot, but they also allow you to add collections to organize your screenshots more effectively. It also retains the information of the web page you were visiting at the time. Additionally, you could take some voice notes. For instance, you could again hold down the button and record a voice note saying something additional like "I want to conduct a review of this device." When you release this action, it will save, and you'll notice that we now have the voice memo. This memo will be processed not just to display the transcript, but it might even provide you with a sequence of steps if you mention multiple things. It's a method to organize your thoughts, and it will obviously receive updates for improvement. The base model includes 8 GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage. However, as I mentioned, there's also a version with 12 GB of RAM and 256 GB of storage. And finally, the processor is the Snapdragon 7S Gen 3, a processor that I think is not the most powerful of the range. That is, it will not become completely outstanding as to be the king of performance in the range. However, if it offers us a very smooth performance for a large number of people, for example in Geekbench gave us 1,165 points in a single core, 3,300 points in multi-core. In Antutu obtained 7,82,165 points, so as I say, it will not be the king of performance in the range. A complete performance powerhouse, although numerous individuals will find this power sufficient for daily tasks. At this point, we have arrived at the conclusion of this video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to let us know. Anticipate a review coming very soon, and we look forward to seeing you next time.